on LinkedIn. We're about to go live on my YouTube channel. And today we're going to be talking about how to turn on LinkedIn and Facebook's fast button. So that you're talking to more people and you're closing more sales. And at the end of the day, it's about talking to people. Now, like I said, I love success stories. So I'm going to share one before we get started. So I'm going to pop over here to LinkedIn. And I got a delightful phone call earlier today from Steve Middleton. Now notice, in looking at his profile, he's got the green dot next to his name. So Steve, telling the world, anybody that looks at his profile, he's there, he's online, even if he's out playing golf. Let me unmute Steve.
Hi, Max.
Yeah, hi, Steve. You know, why don't you share with everybody what you shared with me earlier today when you called me?
Sure. I mean, I live out on this big lake, and I normally go out around in the morning, around lunchtime, walking on the lake for exercise. And I was out walking, and this woman passed me, and she was very friendly. And about the halfway mark, there's overlook, and she was there, and she was stretching. So I stopped there to wipe the sweat off, get a little drink of water, and she just started talking to me. She said, "Oh, I like to stretch in the halfway through." And so I started talking to her, and I thought, wait a minute, let me go back to my scripts book and the 16 questions. And I was carrying on conversation while she was stretching and asking the 16 questions. I asked her what she did. She said that she was a stay-at-home mom, that her husband, she'd been married 15 years, her husband had died from cancer, and she had to take care of the kids, and she had 3 kids. I said, oh, well, she said she had kids. I said, how many do you have? What are their ages? And she told me they were like 10, 15, 10, and 8. And I said, oh, wow, they must be in school. She says, yeah, the middle one is a special needs child. So I said, what kind of work do you do? She said, I can't work because he only goes to school half time. So I was in HR, and I really liked it because I liked helping people and working with people. So I repeated that and said, so you really like working with people and helping people? She says, yeah, I really love that. I said, were you in the recruiting and training? She says, no, I was in insurance, just helping people with their insurance. So then I asked her, well, have you ever worked at home? She says, no, I looked into it, but people want you to do certain hours, and I can't do that. I got to be flexible. And so I said, well, you know, I have a home-based business. I work from home, and it's my business. I work when I want to. I go to grandkids' sporting events. She says, that sounds great. Says, I really need some supplemental income because I had to downgrade my insurance from $570 to $370, and I got this high deductible. So we ended up, I got her name, but when I got home, before I could shower, change clothes, and eat lunch, she had sent me a friend request. I said, when's a good time to talk? She said, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 1 when the kids in school. So I have an appointment presentation on Monday morning at 10 o'clock. And I just went right through the questions in the script book.
So what does that tell you?
That tells me that you can use those questions in the script book, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on just talking to people that you meet that are friendly. I mean, she was very friendly. She was very talkative. She has a need and she's open.
Well, I wanted to share that with all of you because, you know, you have plenty of opportunities to talk to people wherever we're out, as well as obviously on LinkedIn and Facebook. So at the end of the day, we need to be measuring, what are we doing? How many people are we talking to? How many people are we selling to? Earlier today, we had someone on that.
Hey, Max, one other thing.
Yeah.
That whole conversation was like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was while she was stretching and I was just kind of resting. So it wasn't long because we were out there exercising and we both wanted to get back to walking. So the whole conversation was no more than 3 minutes.
Right. And now what you're going to be able to do, now that you're connected, is you can text each other back and forth. You can dig a little deeper because remember, you're going to need to know what her experience, what does she know about network marketing? You really want to get that in there. And and for this reason, if she has a negative attitude about it, doesn't mean that she's still not a candidate. You got to find out why. Maybe she's justified in having a negative attitude.
She's in Pampered Chef right now.
Ah, okay. You really did a good job. Well, Pampered Chef, you know, is a home party business, and you know, you're in something that's easier to build, much more lucrative, and so you know, one of the points that needs to be made here is that in 3 or 4 minutes, you can get enough information about the other person to know whether or not you even want to talk to them about the business, certainly determine their interest. And Steve didn't have to do it at the park. You know, he made the contact, he developed the initial relationship, and he could talk about the details later, you know, at his convenience. So sometimes, you know, if you're going to a reunion, you're going to any kind of a gathering, don't feel like you have to run and push your business opportunity on people. No, you just want to make those connections, clearly identify the people who you can talk to later. But when you're doing it on a social network, it's on your terms. It's on your terms. And so I think, Steve, we're gonna hear more of Steve's little trips to the park. Why not get a little exercise and connect with people? This morning we had someone on whose primary focus was appointments. I got to get appointments. I got to get appointments. And I pointed out to him, yes, appointments are clearly part of the activity. But it's not about appointments. It's about sales. Having 10 appointments a day, 5 days a week, 50 appointments means nothing if out of those 50 people that you had appointments with, you're not closing sales. Wouldn't it be better instead of having 50 appointments and not closing anybody than to have 15 appointments and close 5? It starts with your profile. It starts with people's perception of who you are. Who you are. What can people benefit from being connected to you? what do people get? What's their perception of who you are based on what they see? Okay, so I'm kind of looking down the list of people that are here. And all the way down at the bottom, I guess they're doing this in alphabetical order, is Ralph. So let's bring up Ralph's profile here. And let's see. So Ralph and I have been connected since January of 2018. Let me unmute Ralph.
Hello.
Hey, Ralph, how are you?
Hey, doing fine, Max.
Let's, so how is LinkedIn working for you?
Really just kind of getting started still.
Okay. So what are you trying to sell?
Into the power lead system.
Okay. Okay. And okay, so all right, so basically what you're selling is you're selling tools and a proven methodology for somebody that wants to make money on the internet and needs to know, how to do it. And they have they've got very good tools, and they've also got an attractive compensation plan where you talk to the right people, you could make $1,000, or maybe it's a little more. So my question is, what have you been doing? What is this 11-year deal here? What does this represent?
That's where my wife and I have been working on doing like the phone consultation services, helping people essentially with love and romance type of advice, and helping them through personal problems.
Okay. But so have you named, have you got a business or a website? I mean, how do people know about this?
Yes, we have a website, and we also work through a third-party website. We have our own private website, and people find us pretty much through the third-party website really easily.
And what do you call your business?
Well, we call it ReverendHeidi.com. My wife does a lot of the talking on the phone, and I do a lot of the other arrangements, technical support, things like that.
Okay, Reverend, so that's our website, ReverendHeidi.com?
Yes.
Let's go over there and take a look.
Excuse me, ReverendHeidiTarot.com.
Reverend Heidi what?
ReverendHeidiTarot.com.
T-A-R-O?
Tarot.
Oh,
And the Rev is just REV. Sorry about that.
right. One of my whoops. So it's REV HEIDI.
HEYDI. Sorry about that too.
Right, that's all right. One of my favorite students that I worked with for years, she's she's a top earner in her company. There we go. And she's making over $100,000 a month. Used to go
Wow.
on Facebook and do readings.
Yes.
And I mean, she would get 50,000 people on one of her things.
Yes.
And she used to use that as a magnet to get people for her network marketing business. But people were more interested, and frankly, you know, the subject was relationships and love.
Right. Right.
So, and of course, her audience and her market were women. I'm going to have to look and find some of the snapshots, you know, that we took. Okay, so she gives advice, relationship advice about love, relationship.
Yes. Yes. Primarily about love, boyfriends, husbands,
Okay. Well,
things like that.
Right. So one of the things that you need, see, nobody would know that
Yes, I see that.
by looking at that.
Hmm.
And so if you elaborated on that more, that makes people curious about the other things that you do. Does she have a LinkedIn page?
No, she doesn't.
Okay. Just to give you an idea. Let's let me shut this down.
Let me take notes.
Let me come over here and let's look at let's see how many people are relationship coaches on LinkedIn. So you got 1,400,000 relationship coaches. We could go over here. Back it up. So many love coaches on LinkedIn. And what's happening here is you're picking up the word coach. So whenever you do a keyword search, it's tapping into the same pool. So let's do this. Let's bracket it. Quotation marks. Let's see how many people refer to themselves as a love coach. Got 1,100. 1,100 people that are love and relationship coaches. And I'm looking at these two here. Out of the first four, two of them certainly aren't doing it the correct way, but here's a dating coach. So the bottom line is, okay, so you got this coaching services program. What if somebody wanted your help? What do you guys? What does she charge?
Right now, our rate is $89.99 an hour.
Okay. How many hours does the typical person? You got an average?
Usually 45 minutes to an hour, but we do have one client that kind of likes to go an hour and a half.
Okay, but is it one session, or how many sessions would a person avail themselves with?
Normally just one session, and it's 45 minutes to an hour in length.
Okay.
We kind of call it an open-ended session.
All right. about let's see, 14 years ago, I never published it, but before I met my wife, while I was building a network marketing business, I was also single. And so I was on like 5 dating sites. And if you think my program for finding perfect prospects for your network marketing business is great, and it is. I have one for internet dating that was equally as effective. As a matter of fact, the biggest challenge that people face when you're trying to meet somebody on the internet is people have a tendency to misrepresent themselves. The biggest areas, the pictures on the websites are older than they are, they're 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old. They don't really represent who they are today. They misrepresent their age. The average woman on a dating site cuts her age by 10%. So if somebody is 50, she's really 55. Somebody says they're 60, well, they're really 65, 66. They shave their age and they shave their description. So between the photograph and basic information, one of the biggest challenges that single people have is they go on these first dates, these meetings, and they're disasters, absolute disasters. And so I developed a methodology and a program. Once I put this into place, I never had a bad date. Now, that doesn't mean when I met somebody that sparks were flying. I mean, there was phenomenal chemistry. That's something that, happens when 2 people meet face to face. But I never went to a meeting where the person on the other end wasn't what I expected. So how do you do that? And it's very, very similar to finding prospects for your business, right? We're qualifying. Right. Before we get on the telephone, we need to know, does this person fit the parameters of what we're looking for? So I broke the whole thing down and compared it to baseball. First base, second base, third base. So first base was to make that connection. You write to them when they accept the message and they write back to you, you've made the electronic connection, you're on first base. Second base is when you actually get to talk to them. Now, used to be on the phone. Today, you could talk to them, you could do a Zoom. But still, talking to somebody is the next level of communication. You get to hear the person's voice. Third base is when you meet. And everybody's in a hurry to get to third base, because that's when you're going to have a pretty good idea as to whether the person on the other end, whether there's attraction, whether you want to see the person again. So, and it's exactly the same in network marketing. People are in such a hurry to get to third base that they don't spend enough time on second. They rush to the meeting and they crash and burn. Now, on second base, when you're talking to somebody, I developed a very, very simple way to completely eliminate the fact that I'm ever going to have a bad meeting. This is how I did it. It's all about stories. So you're connecting with somebody, and this is going to be the same thing. You're talking to somebody on Facebook, you're talking to somebody on LinkedIn about that. Tell me your story. I used to ask people, so what kind of experience have you had on Match.com? Or what kind of experience have you had with American Singles or whatever the website was? And, you know, you get their stories. The people would come back and they would tell, oh my God, I met some very nice people. And then usually everybody would come back with a horror story. You know, I can't believe how many men I've met that lied. You know, they said they were athletic and they were easily 50 pounds overweight. Things like that. Again, you have to know what you're looking for. So first I would get, you know, their story, and then people would naturally come back and ask me my story. And what I used to say was, you know, I've had those experiences where I meet somebody and, you know, the picture was taken 20 years ago. Or I'm attracted to petite women. And so petite doesn't mean 5 feet tall. I never knew my wife's dress size. Married for 15 years. I never knew her dress size. I would pick up the phone, call her favorite petite, tell her, I want to get something nice for my wife. They would box it up. I'd stop by, pick it up, or they'd send it over to the office. I'm a hero. I never knew her dress size. And so when but I know what I like. And so I'm attracted to women, if we want to talk about dress sizes, that are either a 0, a 2, or a 4, period. Anything more than a 2, a 0, 2, or a 4, it's, you know, listen, some of us like our steak rare. Some of us like our steak well done. We like what we like. We don't have to apologize for it. But we don't want to go and meet someone that's petite, that's a size 12. Okay? Not that there's again, it's all, you know, it's okay to be shallow and superficial because we know what we're looking for. Just like you all know what you're looking for from the standpoint of a business partner. So this is the way I used to explain it. I used to say, look, I assure you, I mean, I've gone and I've had these meetings and people have lied and people have misrepresented themselves. But I assure you that my picture is current and that there is nothing on my profile, nothing that you're going to read about me that is not completely accurate. And I would like you to assure me, I'm going to assume that same thing with you. The picture's current, everything on there is accurate. I never asked them to acknowledge it or make some changes. But at that point in time, that was their opportunity. If there was something that, oh, you know, listen, that picture was taken 12 years old, but I still look the same, whatever. So then I would say, listen, I don't have bad meetings. The last time I had a bad meeting was 4 years ago. I went to a place to meet. It was a restaurant. And, you know, some people would go for coffee. You know, some people go for drink. I like to, you know, let's go out. Let's have lunch. Let's have dinner. You know, I got to eat. You got to eat. It's, for me, it was a business expense because I'm writing up my meals, you know, so I'm writing this book. And so what would happen, I said, I had this meeting, I met this person, and she had completely lied to me. The picture was all, she was nothing like I expected. Now, so when she walked up to me, I said to her, I said, I can't believe that you lied to me. I can't believe you lied to me. You have shown me the utmost disrespect. You have wasted my time. You've wasted your time. And I'm out of here. There was no reason. I can't tell you how many people would tell me they would meet the person, they would have a meal. They would, you know, I'm going to be polite. Why are you polite to somebody that has totally disrespected your time, lied to you, and they know they're doing it? They figure that, well, maybe, you know, when they meet me, they're going to like me. Total disrespect. And so when I would tell somebody on second base about that experience I never had a bad meeting because they would not agree to a meeting. They wouldn't, because nobody wants to set themselves up for that kind of experience. Nobody wants to be rejected face to face. In many cases, well, let's schedule a time to meet, and they would come back and well, I got to check my calendar, and it would never work out. So the process is relatively simple. You make 2 lists. You have a list of everything that you would like in your soulmate. I made a tic-tac-toe box, 9 boxes, and I put the things that were the most important in those 9 boxes. I also had a deal killer list, and I put the things in those boxes that were non-starters. It could be I didn't want a smoker. I didn't want anybody that drank excessively. And so when I would meet somebody or look at their profiles, no matter how attractive I was to these people, if there was anything on their profile that was on my deal killer list, I didn't even start. You all, when you're looking for prospects, there are things that you all need to be looking for that will help you identify whether you want to accept the connection, whether you want to start the conversation. And during your conversations, you're going to learn things about the other person that will tell you that you either want to continue or you just need to go about your business and talk to some other people. The other day in a coaching session with James, classic example of someone that he started to talk to that right out of the gate, we knew this person was difficult. So and once you do something else. You talk to somebody else. So let me ask you. So that's this relationship thing that you got going.
Yes, and we do need to clarify that.
Okay,
I can see that now.
You've been doing this for 11 years. And again, see, you need to put headlines on these things. So what was the Temple of the Infinite Universe? What was that?
That was our, after we left our senior pastor position at Hermitage Christian Church, we were trying to get a private spiritual outreach going. And so we operated that out of our home for quite a few years. And that's really what led us into getting into the whole love and relationships area. We were just kind of searching for direction at that time. And yeah, we just called it that.
Okay. So what you have to do is you have to give yourself credibility. Why would someone, and it goes the same way with, selling the power lead system.
Mm-hmm.
And we again, you need to dress that up. In other words, you need to give it a name of your business. You're an affiliate marketer, but
Yes.
You want to give your business a name like the International Association of Wealth Builders, and you're the founder, you're the president. And so people look at that and they go, hey, why do I want to get into affiliate marketing? Because I want to make money. I mean, I would like to do something that's going to generate residual income. I lost my job, whatever it is. So all of these things, everything here, together adds up to you. So everyone's got a mission to help other people. But how you can help other people has to be represented by what people see here. and
Right.
it's not. Yes, before things change, you must change. No question about it. Now I'm looking at this picture, and I guess, and where are you located?
We're located in Wheatland, Missouri,
Okay.
right next to Lake Pomme de Terre.
Okay, so understanding, so being landlocked, a picture of the water would certainly, be, appealing and attractive. But what you want to do is you want to have a cover. You want to have something on here that when people want to be able to look at this and they want to say, hey, that's what I want to do. I mean, I want what this person has. Let me give you an example. I'm going to pop over here
Okay.
and this is going to block everybody's view for a minute. And let me, okay. So, for example, and I got to do this again. So you want pictures, like once you begin to change, so will the world around. You got a couple on a secluded beach. She's just getting on a, is this thing gonna work? Let me see if it'll take me to the next one. It won't. So it's stuff like this. Let me go to dot, 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 dot. I think we're going to be able to do it here. Again, so once you begin to change, so will the world around you. It's all about having something that resonates with the people. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. Let's see.
There we go.
So again, it's perception. People look at these things now. Again, finances. Once you begin to change, so will the world around you. The image that people see sets the tone to give you credibility. I want to be you. I want what you're having. You all remember the movie When Harry Met Sally, the restaurant scene?
Yes.
Everybody wanted what Sally was having. What do you want for lunch? I want what she's having. And that's the power of social media. You put yourself out there. So if people look at this picture and they go,
Right.
man, I want what you got.
Yeah, much more powerful.
And right, it's a good cover is worth 5,000 words. All right. And people look at this and they go, oh man, I want to be you. I want to have what you have.
Boy.
So it's the cover. It's your picture. It's success is not to be pursued. It's to be attracted by the person you become. So it's all about, again, everything all adds up so that people say, so you're the founder of the International Association of Wealth Builders. Well, you know, you got to have money in the bank if you're going to go to Tahiti. Putting up images that will relate to the people that you want to talk to. Now, we just came up with some new images that we're going to be introducing in our September boot camp that, frankly, are outrageous. And once you begin to change, a nice couple in this kind of a pool.
Boy.
I want to be you. And that's what this is all about. Going to exotic places, enjoying the good life. That's what it's all about. And when people look at your profile and they see what you're about, it's the start of the relationship. From there, it's all about conversation. And it's not about you selling.
Right.
It's about you identifying, is the person on the other end who you're looking for? Do they have the need? Do they have the interest? Do they have the wherewithal? And then comes down to conversation. So let me pop out of here. And let me now go over here. And I'm going to log out of my account. And I'm going to jump into James' account because, again, at the end of the day, it's all about conversation. It's all about you talking to someone let me unmute James.
Hi, Max.
Hi, James. You know, I couldn't help but laugh. You know what I'm laughing at, right?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're laughing at.
Right. So, this Kevin James is the person that I had mentioned earlier that we were talking to James, because if you can't say something nice about someone, don't say anything. This was a classic example of somebody that James talked to longer than he should have. But let's be on the positive side. So we're going to come over here, and who are we going to look at? What's the name?
Look at Jeff Perkins. Second one down.
Okay. So Jeff, if we look at Jeff's picture, he's a dynamic sales manager. Now we're looking for people that have a need. And God knows, with millions of people on LinkedIn that have a need, we don't necessarily have to talk to people that don't have a need. So we're going to come down here, and he's dedicated to the people what is in it for you. But the big question is, what does he do? So he's a general sales manager for a car company. And he's been doing that for 7 months. Prior to that, and he's got something called Grounded All Season Care. Been doing that for 4 years. And all the things he's done. And looking at their work history tells you a lot. Manufacturing sales rep, sales manager, new car manager, general manager, had his own limousine company for a year, had another company. So he's got a wide background in general management, entrepreneurship. He's owned a couple of companies. And we want to see, what has he done last? So right now, he got a job as general manager. He's been doing this for 7 months. He also has this other business that he's had for 4 years. And during the time that he's had that business for 4 years, he worked for Blue Cross Blue Shield. So the question that comes to my mind, what's his need?
So let me take you back a little bit. We started talking to him a year or so ago when he was having troubles making things work with his landscaping company, and we talked back and forth a little bit. Then a buddy of his owns that car lot, so he went to work helping his buddy for the car lot. And if you'll look at the last conversation, I re-engaged with him today, and he came back and he thinks it may be time to look for something else.
So, and this is a very, very important, there's an important lesson here. Because once you make connections with people, okay, so you've been connected to Jeff since last July. And so at the time, like you said, today is National Banana Split Day. So this was on the 4th of July. So he's working. So what James has been doing, he's been establishing the race. He's working at a dealership. So,
Wow.
okay, so back in, looks like April, you started to bring it up. Tell me about your business. My wife wants a new house.
Wow.
Okay, now, so the lesson here was he distracted. He wanted to know about the business. Okay, so we should have been talking about the business, sending him, something about the future and everything else was the wrong move. Now, the good news is, okay, So you try to set up an appointment and it never happened.
Wow.
Okay. So now he's selling his wife bought a camper. This is what we do. Meanwhile, he's busting his butt working for his friend. Okay. So how do you manage all that you do? And this was in July.
All right.
Today's August the 25th. So again, there are people that you have access to, conversations that you started that are out there hanging. So when you asked me earlier, I thought that was you. How is it that Francisco is adding all these people? How is it that someone else, I forget who we were talking about, is adding all these?
Dr. Nestor.
Right. How is it? The answer is really, it's right in front of you. They're talking to people. You know, if you got somebody that, you know, shows promise, it's called following up. So here, he wants to know, how is it possible that you're doing all this stuff? Now, so now here it is, August the 25th, you're coming back. And really what you could have done was, hey, listen, sorry for my delayed response, man. You know, you wrote to me on the 5th of July. I'm just getting back to you now. There has to be continuity. Everything has to kind of flow together. You just don't pop in, send a couple of messages, come back 6 months later and pop in. And this is a relationship building process. Right. Okay.
Right.
So James, work is always busy, which I don't mind, but I prefer to be busy all the way through. July and August have been slower. To be honest, it's maybe time to explore my options a little more. Okay, I don't want you to get the wrong idea, like I'm giving up as I'm not, but I'm not. I jumped on, I feel that I'm building my friend's legacy and not my own. Okay. With this story, he isn't involved as much. So he's pouring his heart out to you. Okay. So now we can pick up the ball that, frankly,
wow,
we dropped a couple of times. All right. So let me come over here because it's going to be easier. And let me find the image. Let me. I'm sure it's going to be here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull out of our little
Google.
Let's come down here. Remember, you control the conversations that you have with everyone. You decide who you want to talk to. You decide who you don't. You decide how many people every day that you want to talk to. And so what we're going to do is first, we're going to go, thanks
All right.
for sharing more of the story. We're going to send that. Then if you don't build your dream, someone's going to hire you to help them build theirs. Okay, now, a few months back, and we could go back and we could look it up. When it was right here, it was in April. Last April, started to talk. And what we do is we come back up to remember, we can't be sure that he realizes he can scroll up. Let's go back. See, remember what we said here? You know, I'm not sure I mentioned this before, but you would be a natural fit with me and my business. So we can take some of these things. And so we don't have to retype it. You have my attention. So we're going to come back over here. Let's copy this. Now we're not going to use all of it. I am ready to so it's this part right here. I'm going to copy that. That got his attention. Now we're going to come down here. Let's put that in there. Last April. I told you you'll be a natural fit. In my business. Now, we don't need this report. Last April, I told you that with your experience in business ownership and management, you would love, and your love of people and helping them succeed, you would be a great success in my business. Okay? And I got distracted, and we both got distracted and never finished. Never finished our conversation. Okay, so now let's set up a time for me to share with you all the details of how we would work together. Work together. And how this and how this you say might be, how this would be. This would be the opportunity to have your own business. He can eat just as easily, scroll up. What day and time work for you? Now, what we want to do is let's take this, copy it, paste it back in here.
Move that width up to right behind that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at all the space. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now, again, so to answer the comment that you made earlier, the answer is right here. You are sitting on a proverbial gold mine. A prospect. You got close to 5,000 people. I guarantee that I could go back into your record history, message history, and I could find 50 people, at least 50, probably 100, that are just sitting there waiting for you to restart the conversation.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Well, it's about time. I mean, I love this guy. Okay. We've known each other for a long time. Now, as for the rest of you, you absolutely need. Let me see what we got here in the
David Rodriguez is kind of the same situation. We can look at him in the morning if you want to.
And now we'll take a look at him in the morning. And let me look. So as for the rest of you, listen, you heard from Steve. These scripts work. The whole process works. But people have to have, it starts with your profile. It starts with the perception that you give people about who you are. That's where it starts. Then it comes down to conversation. And during that conversation, you're going to know whether or not the person on the other end is someone you want to talk to or not. We know what we like when it comes to romance. The sooner you know what you need and what you like for someone to do business with, the better off you're going to be. Ralph, let me see. You know, there's some other things I could share with you. I got a coaching session from 5:30 to 6:30. What's your phone number? I can call you after.
Okay. Let's see here. Just got a new phone. Uh, 417-309-8824.
Okay, 417-309-8824. I'll be calling you
Correct.
from area code 561. 561 346-0007. So you'll recognize it. I'll give you a call in about an hour and a half.
Okay, Max. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. And for the rest of you, you're all sitting on gold mines, folks. Start talking to people and turn on that fast cut